Hi, I'm Danny with Skinner Guitars, and today I'm going to show you how I brought this beautiful Archtop guitar back from the dead in just 15 minutes. So let's get started. An old friend of mine flips houses for a living. A while back, he called me wondering if I could give him any information on a guitar that he found in an attic. It was a very old Silvertone Archtop that had clearly been abandoned years ago and long since forgotten. Now these are probably worth $400 to $500 in pristine condition, and this one was not even worth repairing. A sane person would have just sent it to the landfill, but clearly I'm not one of those. So I bagged it with a wet rag for 3 weeks, removing it daily to air it out and change the rag to prevent mold. It was very dry, and I was hoping to rehydrate the wood. I didn't know if I was going to try to use any of this hardware at the time, so I bagged it and cataloged all of it. The binding was relatively easy to remove. 40 to 50 years of hot Texas summers and brutal North Texas winters, with the exact opposite of climate control, tends to take all the fight right out of old adhesives. After stripping all the hardware and removing the binding, it was time to give it a good cleaning with a damp rag to see what was under all those years of grunge and filth. The neck binding was roughly the consistency of uncooked pasta and offered me no resistance. I split a number 2 pencil lengthwise in half, laying the guitar centered on 2 identical sheets of cardboard. I used the half pencil to trace the outline of the guitar onto the cardboard. I then used a utility blade to carefully cut out the shape that I traced. I stacked 2 sheets of 1/2-inch MDF and taped them together so they wouldn't slide around on me, and I taped my cardboard guitar shape to the MDF, using it to transfer my line. At my bandsaw, I cut as close to my line as I could without crossing it. Then I used my oscillating belt sander to refine my shape. Then I manually used a finer grit sandpaper to clean it all up. With the remaining bits of my MDF sheet, I glued up blocks to use as spacers in my form. I built this device to keep the guitar in proper shape once the back is removed to shore up the braces, blocks, and kerfing. Conveniently, the back removed itself when I lifted the guitar in its form. It's nice to have a cooperative patient. I shimmed the bottom behind where the tail block should and will be again with a thin strip of maple where I'll be applying firm pressure. I clean up all the internal surfaces and vacuum out years of accumulated lint and all manner of insect mummy. After sanding the joining surfaces, I glue up the tail block and clamp it firmly back into its home. And there it is, back home. Using a small scraper, I clean up all the decades-old glue squeeze out and get everything ready to be stabilized. I won't lie, part of me genuinely felt bad to euthanize this dust bunny. Using scrap maple, I cut and shaped 2 traditional style cleats to fix some cracks in the back. It made me feel like Ted Woodford. Amazingly, there was only one place where the top was separating from the sides. I glued that spot up and clamped it to set up overnight. One tone bar was completely loose, and the other one was detached at the bottom quarter. So I sanded, cleaned up along the mating surfaces, and glued and clamped everything down. I used a dumbbell to apply clamping pressure where a clamp wouldn't reach around my form. I applied thin CA glue around all the kerfing, hoping to stabilize all of that. None of it was loose, but I wanted a little insurance that it would stay put. I used some glue-soaked muslin to fix some cracks on the back, and I decided not to make any attempt at saving the existing finish. It just wouldn't be my guitar if I didn't put a natural finish on it, so I'm sanding it all back to bare wood. Right here's where I realize I can't use this form if I want to have clamps. I'm using some glue-soaked muslin to reinforce the back, add some strength without adding a lot of mass. I'm finally ready to replace the back. I'm gonna put the back. I apply a generous amount of Tight Bond 1 because I want the option to remove the back in the future if needed. Thankfully, the back wants to go back exactly the way it came off, so there wasn't a lot of moving around. I apply the clamps at all the corners first, and then I fill in the gaps in the middle, ensuring everything stays lined up in the process. I'll be making another video to show exactly how I make these spool clamps. They're very handy for this task. This is a binding channel cutter that I made from a chunk of walnut, a large bolt, a couple of set screws, and a blade I cut off a very sharp chisel. It worked great on the spruce top. The hardwood back was a savage beating, and I don't want to talk about it. This red-handled tool is just a modeling scalpel. It came in handy too. And finally, this is a sanding block I made just for this. It's perfect. If you've never tried binding an Archtop, I can't recommend it enough. It teaches you things about yourself. Things you might not care to know. Dark things. Seriously though, it's just a meticulous, painstaking process. You either have it in you or you don't. And there's really only one way to find out. Once the binding is taped in place, I use a brush to liberally apply acetone. The acetone melts down the binding and basically turns it into its own glue. It's super cool. There are places that will want to pull away, but I just use brute force. After the binding dries out in a couple of days, it's time to scrape it down. And that works just like it sounds. I use a card scraper and just peel off shavings until the binding surface and the guitar surface are in the same place. Let there be no illusions. This takes a while. You know, like a really, really long time. Is it worth the time? Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, sanding. Who am I kidding? According to my analytics, it's lady and gentlemen. At long last, we've arrived at what I consider to be one of the more rewarding stages of this process. Bringing the wood back to life. If you enjoy watching me do this stuff, it'd be amazing if you'd like, subscribe, comment, and share to help me grow my channel. And thank you so much. I won't put you through the week or more of this that I survived. There are at least 20 coats of polyurethane, each separated by 4 to 6 hours and a light sanding. But this is about what each of those look like. It's nice to look at, isn't it? Oh, and you may or may not be interested to know that all the music on this video is performed on this Archtop guitar. And there she is. She's come a long way. I use coarse sandpaper to make the feet of the bridge conform perfectly to the top of the guitar. I use CA glue to reinforce the screw holes so they don't strip out. I install the beautiful new trapeze tailpiece. And I use the 2 E strings to hold the bridge in place while I string up the rest. I use plastic to protect the finish while I fit the pickup and its chrome cover. CA glue for the screw holes. And we solder up the pickup. This whole part is done with extreme caution. It would break my heart to scratch up the finish at this point. Finally, I shape the pick guard from a blank and carefully notch it for the pickup. There goes my dog. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I've enjoyed making it. Thanks for watching.